Talk about your success journey.
Well, I'm still on it, right? I think that journey is lifelong, and as I get older, my definition of success changes all the time. So it's like, well, great, I have to start that journey again. But as it relates to business and the company that I have and the sort of the life that I've put together right now, it really happened very, very quickly. And when I was really, really young. And I left high school, went to college in Boston. And while I was in Boston with a full scholarship, I screwed up. I didn't read the fine print and I lost my scholarship by changing majors. That was terrible because I couldn't tell my family about it. They couldn't have helped me anyway. And I was in Boston with $400 and Boston University saying, hey, your tuition's due in full. By the way, along with your scholarship, you lost your university housing, so go find a place to live. And I sort of sat there and went, what do I do now? And what I decided to do, because it seemed like the only logical thing, was that I would work my way through college. I would just figure out how to pay for it. And so I got 4 jobs while I was in Boston, and I was working round the clock, 7 days a week at 4 different jobs. I was attending class. I was passing somehow. I don't think I learned anything those 2 years that I was there. It was so incredibly hard to do that at one point I just up and left and I went to Maine on a whim, on a journey. I just said, I'm going to go for the summer and I'm going to just take a break because I was not working jobs I was proud of. I wasn't working jobs that were fulfilling or even that paid a lot. So I had 4, and every paycheck went to pay the university or this drummer that I lived with in the middle of the night at $200 for his room. So the whole, even though I was doing it, it was soul sucking for me to do it. And when I went to Maine, I stumbled upon a copywriting job. I'm going to do that for the summer. I didn't know that it was this infomercial company. I didn't even really know what an infomercial was. This was back in 1995. It was so liberating to go to work and just write and have fun. And I wasn't going to school at that time. I had finished, and I started just working there, and I started learning everything of this company, and they were in a really great place where they let me learn. So in the second year that I was there, by accident, because I was bored, I said, hey, could I produce a TV show for you? That's what I went to school for. They said yes. It was kind of a white lie. I had never produced a TV show, but I'd been there for a year and I saw TV shows, so I'm like, how hard could it be? And by luck, by chance, the show did $50 million that year. I didn't even know $50 million is a real number. Like, I didn't know you could sell that much product. And there was no internet at the time, so it was all by phone sales. And I had such this high of, wow, something I put on TV made the phone ring, and the phone doesn't stop ringing. And what I also saw there, which was sort of a kernel for me, is that they had 20 telemarketers at the time. They went to 300 telemarketers, and they were outsourcing to other call centers. The concept of, oh my goodness, look, we just put all these people to work because I sold something on TV was incredibly addicting to me. And so they, of course, gave me anything I wanted at this company right now because I was the golden girl. I produced 4 more shows for them. And when I decided to move to New Jersey, because my husband got a job at a university, I went to quit. And they said, don't quit, just work from there. We'll fly you all over the country and you can learn the business because we want you here. And so I said, well, that makes great sense. And so on their dime, I feel like I got a PhD in infomercials. I flew everywhere, met everyone in television and infomercials and doctors and celebrities, and kept producing for them. And we were just on this success train. What happened for me was that I got pregnant by accident. And meaning, surprise, I'm pregnant. I didn't mean to intentionally do it. I know how I got pregnant. But I knew that I couldn't raise a family traveling every 2 weeks. And I knew I really wanted to raise a family. And I didn't want to raise a family working the way I was. And so I said, you know what? I've earned it. I'm going to go and ask them to just make me an executive and I'll put somebody else on the road. I thought that would be an easy conversation because they gave me everything else I wanted. And so I walked in, not letting them know I was pregnant. I just said, hey, we're on our 4th hit and we've got 400 employees, and I've brought you all these hit products, and I don't know what that translates to in business, but can I just stay in the office now and train somebody else to do what I do? And can I get a little bit of a raise or a bonus or something? And I don't want to travel. And his response was, look, we already pay you more than everyone else. This is Maine, and it's my business. You didn't build it, and we don't have to pay you more. That's fair. In my head, it was not the word I used. Fair was not the word, but that's what I said out loud. And I got in the car and drove home, and in the car, I decided to quit. And the reason I decided to quit was because I couldn't figure it out. How was I going to raise a baby under these conditions? But more importantly, at what point was I ever going to be good enough to get a raise? And I just said, forget it, I'll just quit. I'll just produce TV on my own. Everyone in the industry knows me. And so with a baby on my lap and a computer in my living room, I let the world know I was a TV producer, and my phone didn't stop ringing for a year, right? Because when you produce a hit show, everyone wants to work with you. That was the most amount of business planning I ever gave my company. And the challenge there was I was so incredibly exhausted from raising a baby, from producing TV, that I was just making decisions based on energy. And a year later, I decided to open a call center because I had seen one. I'd seen it run, and I loved this idea of the phones ringing because of something I put on TV. And I loved being able to give jobs to people, and it was super exciting. There was no business plan. I opened the call center in an abandoned deli. We didn't even have computers. They just took paper orders. No business plan. I produced another TV show that did 75 million, and that exploded my company. And so with no business plan, no business training, no savings account, no nothing, I allowed the company to go from 2 million to 17 million in about 5 years. And so that was super successful, and everyone thought I was amazing, and I had no idea what I was doing at all. And so I said, I'm not qualified to run this company. I'm going to go and hire a management team that's qualified. And that's what I did. I put $1 million in payroll, and I hired a president, and I hired a finance guy, and I hired account managers, and I brought in consultants, and I said, all right, I'm going to go do what I do. I'm going to go find hit products. I'm going to go make people stars on TV and radio. I'm going to make the next infomercial success. And you guys run the company, because I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. And I did exactly that. I went on the road. At this point, I was pregnant with my third child. And so I was really, and my kids grew up in the business too. So you were always stepping over a child in the company. So at that point, I thought it was really successful. But in the year that I gave over control of the company is when we almost lost it all. I mean, in about $4.5 million in under a year. So that really sucked. And we've spent the last 5 years earning our way out of that. And we were able to do it because I came back in the business. And for me, the point of success was looking at my executive team and saying, okay, guys, we got ourselves here. I'm going to take responsibility. I put you guys in charge. I didn't realize that you didn't know my business well enough to actually lead it. That's fine. But we're going to earn our way out of this. We're not going to take any shortcuts. We're just going to build bigger business and pay our way out. And they said, you can't do that. What do you mean I can't do that? No. We should just file bankruptcy and start over. It's easier. And you're too emotionally connected to the company. We can't do that. And I said, well, we're not going to call our vendors and tell them we're not going to pay them. I'm not going to declare bankruptcy because I got us into this and now it's just somebody else's responsibility. That's crazy. And they said, no, you're too emotionally connected. We're making the decision for you. We can't earn our way out of this. So we're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it the business way. And maybe that was where you asked me earlier about the new breed of shark. I just couldn't stomach that. I couldn't say, I screwed up, so everyone else should suffer. And I couldn't fathom that if I filed bankruptcy, that our clients wouldn't go, oh, we're out. We don't want to be with an unstable company. And I couldn't figure out how to downsize the company because that would be putting all of these people out of work. And at the time, we had 350 employees. And I couldn't be responsible for saying, sorry, I really screwed up because I didn't know what I was doing and you don't get a paycheck this week. So the fear of failing at that was so worse than the actual reality of what we were going through. And so what I said to the team was, look, we're not going to do that. And if you don't believe we can earn our way out, then I need you to resign. Because if you don't believe it now, you won't believe it when we're successful. And if you can't see us earning our way out now, then how are you going to see us growing later? And I was left out of the team of 12, 2 stayed.